Yeah, thank you.
Let's go to Barnes & Noble, except I didn't want to start this vlog by running into their bathroom.
But I don't really have a choice because when I gotta go, I gotta go.
Let's do the real thing. Welcome back, besties. So, before we actually get to the part where I got kicked out of Barnes & Noble, I actually tried to film a Barnes & Noble vlog. So, I'm going to walk you through what I actually did get to film before I got the boot and got kicked out of the store. So, we are currently upstairs, which I never go to like the upstairs of Barnes & Noble because I just don't, to be honest, because upstairs is like nonfiction and kids and toys. So I usually stay downstairs in like the fiction and romance. But since I went to the restroom, I was like, oh, I'll take a peek around. And so I was like, this is interesting. They have like little critters. I think that's what they're called. But I got some of those for my birthday and I was like, oh my gosh, they sell them here. But I quickly made it downstairs and I was greeted with a whole table of Sarah J. Maas. And I don't read Sarah J. Maas, but I was really shocked that they dedicated this whole table to her. Actually, I'm not that shocked. I think it's a big debate on Book Talk and probably other platforms that Barnes & Noble aren't highlighting diverse authors. So I'm actually not as shocked. I made my way over to the Book Talk table and I decided to give it a look and I decided to film myself and I decided to point out that I was just upstairs. I'm currently checking out the book The Davenports and I was really excited to see this because I had saw it on Book Talk, so of course it's at the Book Talk table, but it had a $5 off like sticker, so I was really excited. I ended up not picking it up because I think it is cheaper at Target, so I was holding back on it, but I decided to take a look around at what else is on the Book Talk table, and there was quite a lot of other books as expected, but there was 2 Sarah J. Maas books and I was pointing out the $5 off like ticket or sticker because I always get confused because it always makes me think like the book itself is $5 because the off is so small. And then I went to the Book Talk table for YA books and I saw this book, Girl in Pieces, and I really want to read it, but I'm very, very afraid of it. Also, why did all the YA books suddenly get like fake stickers on it that you can't take off? That's just very disappointing to me. Also, has anyone read F.T. Lukens? I really want to read from this author and I did see them once at my library like book sale for, I think the book was like 50 cents and I did not pick it up and I actually really, really regret it because they're on kind of like my TBR authors to read. So the fact that I didn't pick it up when it was affordable to me. Oh, also here's another like fake sticker, but I don't know why I did. So if anyone has read F.T. Lukens, let me know what you think of their writing style, their books. Would love your opinions. Also, this book was very dusty, but this book had 4 fake stickers on it, so you could not take those off. And then this book has been read apparently because it was really flappy. This is Holly Jackson's new book, Killjoy, which is like a novella, like a prequel novella to the Good Girl Guide series. So I think it's like before she even met Ravi, but Ravi is in it. It just like tells that, or it just mentions that, like, I don't know who he is, like from Pipe's point of view, or Pips, I don't know how you say her name. Of course, you have The Summer of Broken Rule on the Book Talk table for YA. This is my favorite YA book, or like one of my favorite YA book. It's the perfect spring and summer read. It's just so cute, very fast paced, but it works, so I love it. So this is when the drama really starts. I don't think too much about it. So this is like a general overview of books, and it's at the center of the store. But I go over here and I film it because there's a lot of YA books that are new to the store. It's like new fiction basically. So I want to check it out and I want to show y'all what is new at this Barnes & Noble. So I start filming everything and an employee is near me and they are helping a customer. So I think nothing of it because I filmed at Barnes & Noble before and I think it's allowed, but I haven't really checked. But all the times that I have filmed, I never really gotten like a stare or like a little like you can't film in here or anything like that, or else I would like, you know, stop the camera because I don't want to be like a disturbance. I don't want to be an inconvenience to the employees. So I like didn't think too much about it. I just continue filming, and this is when like they really stare at me, like the employee, because I like take a step back and I do an overview, but I'm not in their way. I just like kind of stand in my own little bubble. Here's me being super shy because they were like staring me down.
Guys, I think I'm in trouble. I don't know if you're not allowed to film in Barnes & Noble, but I film all the time, so I don't know.
They were looking at my camera. They were looking at me like they didn't leave. Like their customer has already been helped, but they were staring at me like right by me. But I slowly make my way over to the adult fiction and I saw a table for Daisy Joan and the Six, and this is when episodes are still being released. So it got its own little table. And then I saw a horoscope like bookend, or like the end of like a bookshelf, but I found the romance book and it was $12.99. So I'm assuming it's a YA book, but I thought this was really cool. But I made my way over to the spicy book table, and the employee followed me. They followed me over to the romance table, or like the romance section, and I didn't know how they found me because I was in the YA section and they didn't follow me into that corner. But the moment I like move over to the romance, they followed me there, and they were, I guess, like shelving books, but they really didn't have any books. Like they were just standing there like pretending to like move things back and forth, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm being followed. And so I was like, this is so awkward. And so I'm just like, okay, should I leave? Like I'm debating in my head. I'm like, should I leave? Should I go? Like apparently like I'm being followed and I don't want to be like an inconvenience. I don't want them to think I'm suspicious. I don't want them to think I'm pointing at this book because there's a list going on Book Talk of like things you should not read because they're suspicious, and this book is on it because like he drowns her, something like that. I don't know. But anyways, back to my story. It's not just this employee. I was talking about one employee, but then they disappear and then they go get another employee, and I'm assuming a manager or someone higher than them because they had like headphones and like a little walkie-talkie. They looked a little higher up, like probably a manager rather than, I don't know, someone like working in the front. But they start like talking into an earpiece. Like I feel like they're in cahoots with each other. And so I feel like they were really spying on me. And so I'm kind of like, okay, I'm being spied on clearly. So I don't want them to think I'm like suspicious. I don't want them to think I'm stealing. I don't want them to think I'm pulling a prank on them. Like that's the last thing I want to do, is be banned, because this is like Barnes & Noble. I don't want to be banned from Barnes & Noble. This is when I realized like they're switching employees. So after the manager, it's another employee like being watched. So they're clearly taking turns. Like they're trying to not look suspicious by having like different employees follow me, but clearly it's not working. They asked me like, can they help me? And I was like, oh my gosh, they're talking to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I should go. And then I make it over like one last round to like the general fiction just to film like a little overview. So here's me being like, oh my gosh, nervous. So I decide to leave, but then I get in my own head, like, is it weird that I just interacted with them and then I leave right away? Like, does that make me look suspicious? So I decide to browse this table right by the door, and I was going to browse this table anyway because it's like the buy one get one 50% off, and that's like the coolest table at Barnes & Noble's, of course. So I'm looking at some of the final books on here. There's Travis by Mia Sheridan, which just recently came out, and this is like the second book to Archer's Voice, which came out like years ago. So that's really, really cool, and I can't wait to read it. but there's some other cool books, and I think I'm done with this table. So I'm about to head out, and guess what?
Yeah, thank you.
Another employee comes to me, and so I'm like, okay, there's definitely some like conversation in the background with the employees. There's definitely something going on. And so now I'm even more in my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't leave now. Someone just spoke to me. So I browse another table like by the door, just so I don't look suspicious, like someone just talked to me and I ran out the door. So I'm like looking at my final book, and I'm like, okay, I have to go.
Besties, I had to leave. Besties, they gave me the boot. I'm kidding. They actually didn't kick me out, but they kind of wanted me out, basically. There's little Barnes. However, I will say, with the cards that I was dealt, I lasted pretty long in the store before I was given the boot. I was going to leave anyways because I was like, okay, I think they kind of want me out the store if I'm going to film. Like, I don't know if I'm not allowed to film because I have filmed in Barnes & Noble before, and there's a bunch of like Barnes & Noble vlog on YouTube. Maybe it's just the one I'm currently at, but I guess. So first there was this one employee who definitely did not like that I was there. He hated my guts, and he basically just like stood next to me and just like looked at me the whole time. And I was like, okay, he doesn't like that I'm here. And so he just basically followed me everywhere I went into. So I started in YA. That's when he first saw me, and he would just walk circles and circles and just follow me everywhere. And then I went to romance, and suddenly he was in romance, and he was like pretending to stock books. And that's when he said something to me. He was like, can I help you find anything? And I was like, no, I'm good, thanks. And I was just like, okay, like what is going on? And anyways, after he said that, he just leaves. Like, I didn't see him again. And another guy comes in, and I think he is like a manager or something, because he actually had like walkie-talkies and headsets on him. So I was like, oh shoot, like maybe this guy's actually going to kick me out because he had all of like these equipments on him. And so I feel like he's talking to like, I don't know, like people or whatever, like security. So I was like, okay, like I will leave if they like ask me to. Like, I'm not going to cause a scene. I don't want to make life harder for employees. Like, working is hard enough. Like, you don't want to deal with like something that's not part of your job. And so he is like really subtle. Like, he didn't look at me or anything. He's just kind of like standing and walking, and then I don't really see him again. So he was just there in the romance section. He does a lap and then he leaves. And at this time, like, I'm still recording, like I'm still going at it because I felt like they were going to kick me out soon. So I was like, let me get my content. I'm always thinking a step ahead for the content. Anyways, which is probably like, girl, I should have left. So basically employees kind of start doing that. I think another one comes and they just kind of like walk around me and just kind of like, I don't know if they're monitoring me or just like seeing what I'm doing. I don't know if they're like suspicious. I don't know what they're suspicious of. Like, I genuinely was just like having my camera and recording. Like, that's all I did. And I don't think I look suspicious. Like, I just look like a girl with a camera. So that's still weird, but like, I don't know, like I'm not doing like pranks or anything. I'm genuinely just like filming. Which I get it, like a girl with a camera, like what are you doing here in Barnes & Noble? Like, what are you filming? Oh, and then as I'm looking at like the buy one get one half off table, an employee comes up and asks like, oh, can they help me? And I was recording, but I also had my phone in my hand, and I think they were thinking that I was like looking at a book at my phone and then like trying to find it on the table. So I think they were just asking like genuinely, can they help, rather than like, suspicious of what I was doing. But yeah. Anyways, that's the little story, but woo! We made it out. We did not actually get the boot, but I think we were pretty close. Thanks for joining me on this little Barnes & Noble vlog that was kind of risky, a little bit rushed, but we made it out alive. I literally forgot I started this vlog rushing to the restroom, so it was chaotic from start to finish. Anyways, peace out.